welcome to EBA Live, EBA Tonight. Here as always with your boy Ice the Man. I'm stuttering, I'm bumping, I'm spitting. I can't even talk today. It's all live and ready to go. I have with me, as always, my brother from another mother, Texas, James Smith.
I'm glad we keep getting closer and closer every week, Ice. I'm always here, always ready to get the show started. Man, let's have a good one tonight. Got a special guest, special guest here.
We got a really extra special guest, which I have to jump right over and introduce. Mike Mann, the point guard for the Cleveland Cavaliers and owners. Welcome to the show.
Pleasure to be here, gentlemen.
Now, first time on the show ever, right? I mean...
Correct. Yeah, first time. Long time listener, though.
Oh, sweet. So you understand how the flow goes. We're going to switch some things up a little bit here, and I have to, believe it or not, I have to talk about the elephant that's in the room. It's now, I've listened to Mag's show. I listened to a couple other parties I was in and out of. Last week it seemed like a couple people coming at your throat. I just got to come right out and say, I mean, you got a lot of hating going on the last couple weeks. You've been the talk about whether you're a top 3, top 10, top 20, top 40, whatever, point guard of the league. I mean, do you have anything you want to say before we get rolling and start talking about what's going on in the EBA?
Man, that's funny. You bring that up. It's crazy. I'm a chill guy. People have been in parties with me. They know I'm just a chill guy. I'm laid back. I'll just play my game. I go out there to win, of course. But, I don't get where the hate's coming from. I put up the numbers. I win games. I may not have the best, playoff record, but I win games. I go out there and I do what I have to do as a point guard. Now, this whole top 5, top this, top that. I mean, how many of the guys talking right now, I mean, really think that they're better? I give credit to good point guards. I do. I have no issue doing that. I think even last week or a week before, James even mentioned, I always give credit to Dimes for being a great point guard. I even give credit to Fab for being a good point guard, even though he's been a bit of a phantom lately. But, it's like the hate I don't really get. And, a guy like Melo be balling, talking. How can you talk? You've never beat me. Regardless, never. You can't even name a time. So for someone like that to say, oh, you're not a top point guard, it's like, how can you talk about someone better than you? I don't really get that one.
Well, I know you have been in the league for a long time. I started pulling some statistics up here, and you've played 88 total games in the EBA. Now, that's not the most. The most is actually by Shumpert Life. The Rilla still has more played than you. MC Sticks has more played than you. Garbage Assassin has more played than you. Zabrio Texas himself has more games played than you. You fall right in about, let me scroll down, about 15 or so, maybe 10. I'm not going to count here. As games played. So you haven't played the most. You've played 70 of those at point guard. You have the most points as any point guard in the history of the EBA at 2,132. The closest to you is MC Sticks at 2,096, and then we have Fab, who's played 83 games at 2,059, so a little less than 100 points difference there. I mean, that's a couple games one way or the other. So I can't see how they're calling you not a top point guard of the league. Yes, this season you might have struggled a bit, I would say, and you still put up decent numbers. I'm not knocking your season. But to not mention you in the top 5, I think Fab actually said, that came out of his mouth, and this isn't supporting Fab's thing, this is just repeating it, you're not even in a top 10 point guard, is exactly what came out of his mouth on the breakdown just last week. I was surprised to hear that. I was like, I mean, don't get me wrong, I bundled them up, and I would put, Fab as a top point guard, respect where respect's given. Probably one of the best I've ever played with. I've never had the privilege of playing with you. But I would also, I mean, I've got the privilege to play with King Mizark. I think he's a hell of a point guard. I think my point guard, Majestic, he's a hell of a point guard. Dimes, we've played against him a couple times. Great point guard. So, I mean, there is some really good talent this season. How do you think you compare up to those talent? I mean, do you see yourself as a top 3 point guard in this league?
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. I think the numbers speak for themselves. Like you said, I'm number one in points all time. I'm like number three in assist all time. And I don't even have the most games played. You know, it's guys out there with more games played than me who play the same position. Um, so I definitely consider myself a top point guard. I mean, it's definitely a lot of talent this season, a lot of good point guards out there, but to say I'm not a top is just it's disrespectful. Not that I really care, because at the end of the day, I'm still gonna go out and do what I do. So.
Yeah, well, I'm going to throw a little bit of shade, and that's only because I have to play both sides of the fence here. You also are leading in the most turnovers as well by about 140. I'm sorry, about 40. Sorry, about 46 here. It's 346 to 299. Trainer's the closest, which I think that's funny to you. Shump's up there as well. MC Sticks is up there as well. Abyss is up there with you as well. All of these guys are within 100 points. The realist turnovers, Fab is up there. I mean, they're not point guards. It's just this is the way the list falls out. And you're also up there for, I think, you're not up there for the most field goal attempts. I mean, I'm sorry, you are. You're second in the most field goal attempts in the entire league. MC Sticks is leading with the most attempts. So some people say you're a jack. I mean, you are assists. You're number 3, 967. The closest is Abyss at 1,005, and then Fab is leading at 1,126. And those are all pretty close in games played, as I said before. So, I mean, I got to throw a little bit of shade only because it isn't fair if I don't. You know, I can't ride, I guess. So, I mean, what do you have to say with the people that are pointing that and say, well, yeah, but he turns over a lot, or yeah, but he jacks constantly. Of course he's going to be up there. I mean, he play every time. I also heard this one. Every time he plays on a superstar. So I don't know, what are your responses to those types of, and you've been in the league forever. I think you actually took a season off, right? You took one season off or two?
Yeah, I took a season off. That All-Star team-up season, wasn't a huge fan of how that was playing out. You know, we had owners quitting. My owner actually quit because I wasn't an owner that season.
Yeah, I was gonna say we were
to
forced to take a season off.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, we were kind of forced into that situation. You know, I signed up, went for some crazy amount of money, ended up on a team that didn't play. So kind of got stuck in a trick bag there. That's what made me decide, all right, next season I'm gonna go back to owner. You know, I've only been owner three of the 6 seasons.
Well, that's respect, because that's a pain in the ass to do. That is true. The owner 3 of the 6 season. I mean, so even the other seasons that you weren't on, let's say the 2 other ones, they still put you at a superstar point guard because they felt you're at that point guard level? Or, I mean, I can't remember. Can you name the teams you were on? I don't think. Oh, I guess I'm lying. Chicago is not really a superstar point guard. Derrick Rose, but I mean, he wasn't crazy broke.
We were on Houston. I remember that. I remember we were on Houston one year. When SJ was the owner, I believe. And, you know, I've played in the league. You know, I got one of the most games played in the top of this league, and one of the more games played in the top of this league. And I gotta say, you know, the main thing that I hear from people that critique and criticize rosters, Mike Manor or whatever roster, oh well, you're gonna pay this much money for a guy not to play an All-Star. I mean, it's the same thing. I mean, you're gonna, if you're Mike or you're Caro or you're any of these guys that are great, Shump, any of these great players out here that own a team, you're not owning a team to play second fiddle. You know what I mean? You're picking up a team. You take the responsibility of a team, then you're gonna play firsthand. Whoever it is, it doesn't matter if it's Mike or whoever. If you got the skill to lead your team, even Abyss, man. Abyss normally plays on good point guards, like good players, like he plays point guard in general. But you know, Kyrie and shit, he doesn't take second fiddle to that, and you can't blame him. If you're gonna put your reputation on the line, you might as well be in the driver's seat to do it.
I'll tell you, if I'm going to be an owner, and I'm not I will probably be an evidence type of owner, because if I'm going to own a team and I'm going to pick the guys I want to play around, guess what? I'm not playing on the worst. I'm so sick of playing on the worst guy on the team. I'm going to get an 80 plus or a 100%. Somewhat superstar. I am, because if I'm owning a team, I want an opportunity to ball out. I'm just saying, me personally, and I think anybody in the league that is our owners, there's very few owners that don't play on superstars. Put it that way.
Right, and that's my point. I mean, people talk about, you know, even when he was an owner, when he goes for money or he's a GM, well, you know, or whoever it is, it doesn't matter. You're not gonna play second fiddle when it's on your neck if you fail. You know, so why would you do that? Okay, especially when you're good now. So like,
but I did make that mistake though, James. I don't know if you remember, but that very first season, the season I met you on, the very first season of EBA, I took Derrick Rose and let other people play Jimmy Butler. But
Mm-hmm.
that's because at the end of the day, I do play point guard.
Point
Um,
guard.
I
Indeed.
like to control the flow of the offense. For better or for worse, if I lose, I want to be able to say it was because I made this decision. I trusted this person with the ball. Um, so yeah, I played second fiddle in a way because Jimmy Butler was definitely the better player on that team. But at the end of the day, it was still on me because I was making the decisions on who was getting the ball and when, what, where, and
And
how.
So are you
You
are you
know,
from
it just
Chicago?
it
Why'd
just
you choose
it just
Chicago that
blows my
season?
mind.
Are you from Chicago? Or are you around
I had
Chicago?
I had a low pick. I'll be
Oh,
honest. I had a
okay.
low pick,
Because I
and
love Chicago. I want Chicago picked because I want to play. I'm a Chicago fan, but that's on a different subject. We've got to move on because we can't move. Do you have anything else you want to say to all the haters, Mike, before we move on? I wanted to talk about, like I said, the elephant in the room in order to get it off because it seems like get off the subject. It seems like over the last couple weeks you've been the center of attention, whether people dogging you or hating on you or whether people defending you. I honestly jumped into 3 parties and people were having a conversation of whether or not you're even in the top 5 or top 3 or top 10. And I've never played with you, so I'm a little biased because I can only rate the guys I've played with. Even though the stats one way or the other, I know that's still very important, but those conversations were very active. That's the only reason I wanted to bring this up now at the top of the show while I got you here. I wanted your chance to defend because they kind of came at you a bit.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say this. I've never played against Fab. I've watched the streams, and I'll definitely say he's a great point guard. I definitely respect his game. I don't respect his opinion on the matter when he's never played me. Um, and I don't broadcast, so outside of that, I don't know how much he's seen of me to even warrant that judgment. Melo be balling. He played against me, didn't do too well. He fouled out trying to stop me. It didn't work out too well for him, and we beat him. Um, who else was probably saying something? You know what? It's a lot of people saying it, but it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, I've beaten everyone in this league for the most part. At one point in time, I've also taken losses probably to almost everybody in the league, but that's the nature of the beast.
Who would do you
So I
you
mean,
say you think you're a top point guard? Who would you rate above you? I just want to know for shits and giggles who would you rate above you if you rate anybody above you, and what are your thoughts?
oh, right above me. I'd give Dimes definitely the heads up over there. He's definitely a guy. I think he makes everybody around him way better than what they are. I had the pleasure of being on his team once, and he was John Wall, and he made those guys around him just great. And I was kind of shocked because I've played with some of those people before, and they are terrible. It was people like. I'm trying to remember. It was like Man vs. Pancake or something like that, and a few other guys. I mean, they were terrible. And I mean, we were running through the league, man. I mean, it was in a money league, and we were running through people. He probably remembers that season. Like we beat people up. And just the way he runs his offense, he can be a little stern on certain people, but it's for a good reason, and it's good leadership, and that's what you need at a point guard. Um, I'll put Fab above me because he had a really good season a while ago. I think it was with like Rondo or
Yeah, Rajon Rondo. I was on his line
yeah, something like that.
Yep, or that season.
I mean, yeah, Rondo at that time could shoot a three, but um, still, man, that's Rondo. I give him credit for that. I know what it's like having an inconsistent point guard. I had that Derrick Rose that season who had a 66 three ball. He couldn't even shoot middies. That was in like the low 70s.
Yeah.
Literally, the only thing I could do was drive and float. So uh, to even make first team point guard like I did that season, I don't know how I did it. It's just that's another reason why I consider myself a top 3 point guard. Those are probably the only 2 I'll put above me. I can't really speak on the other guys too well.
Well,
Outside of Majestic, I love his defense.
Yeah,
I love that
Majestic's a
guy's
damn good
defense,
player.
and he
Yeah,
makes good-
he
Yeah.
makes me look better than what I am. So I love point guards that make me look better than Man for Pancake. We got to move on. Let's jump right into. We have a new segment called Rest in Peace. This is the first time ever in EBA Tonight history, but it's pretty much saying goodbye to the season 6 guys that didn't make the playoff. It's rest in peace Indiana Pacers, rest in peace Portland Trailblazers, and rest in peace New York Knicks, and rest in peace Oklahoma City Thunder, in that order. I also have the records here from what's entered in. I don't know. I mean, we don't have bro moment this episode, but if there was one, I would go, dude, why can't we just finish out a season? Like, why people like, I ain't gonna make it, in fact I quit, not show up half their games. I think there was like 17 forfeits. It's broke, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But the Pacers, the Knicks, the Portland Trailblazers, and the Thunder, I want to talk a little bit about each of these teams and where they went wrong. Indiana Pacers, I know I talk a little bit with Realist. He jumps into the party usually while we're playing a different game or something. He'll hop in and we'll just chat and talk. Really good guy. And we'll just discuss different things that are going on in the Pacers, different things that are going on in the league. I know he wanted to be on the show tonight as well, and maybe he could give us some more light on what exactly happened. But Indiana Pacers 12-19. I was surprised at that pick as high as they were, and I've said this all season. But I'm not surprised they really didn't make the playoffs, because I believe I had them out of the playoffs. Texas, I mean, what are your thoughts on Indiana Pacers? What happened there? And then we'll pass it on.
I couldn't really say. I've had the pleasure of playing against Realist, and like you said, he's a really good dude. I like Realist a lot. And I know that I've thrown some shade at them in the past, but it's only good fun. But Realist, he's a good player. Drew's over there, he's a good player. But I couldn't tell you, man. I mean, I played them and they played great. They played well. We played them both times. It was a barn burner both times we played them. We 1-1 against Drew and them. It was a great team. So I mean, it had to fall between the lines somewhere. So I don't know if it was their second line or the frustration from Abyss, because I know he talked about going on IR for the last few weeks or whatever. And I mean, it had to be somewhere in that area of conflict. So couldn't really tell you exactly what happened, but if I was to guess, I would shoot around there.
Well, I did talk, like I said, to Realist a little bit. He told me out of those 12 wins, 11 of them were from his line. So that second line only won one game for them all season, which is really rough. Also, he was telling me that his owner pretty much quit on him. He just didn't want anything to do with it. He was frustrated. He was, and so he was kind of checking out. And Realist did what he did to keep the Pacers alive. So I don't know if that's a broken relationship there, or Abyss is always known to get his guys and have fun in the league, and I want him to keep that mentality of fun, with competition. But tell me, Mike, man, you own a team. Were you concerned with the Pacers maybe coming up and stealing that spot for you there the last week? And also, have you ever wanted to just kind of walk away and quit on your team? Because this season's been rough.
That's the thing. Yeah, it's definitely been a rough season. But at the end of the day, everyone on my team knows that as long as you guys are going to keep fighting, I'm going to keep fighting. And even if you guys aren't going to keep fighting, I'm going to keep fighting. And I go back to my first season as an owner where I didn't know anybody. And that's where I met players.
Mm-hmm.
I went 0-8 that first week. And everyone's like, oh, man, they're not going to do anything this season. They're not going to make the playoffs. And I lucked out in the TCs. I got Alpha Strange and a few other guys that stepped up big for me. But my team didn't give up, and they knew I didn't give up because I was constantly making changes. I got rid of a whole line, and I did whatever it took to make sure we were playing games and we turned our season around. And as an owner, that's what you have to do. I mean, it's tough. I've never wanted to walk away, though, because I signed up for a job. I'm going to see it to the end, for better or for worse. And I make sure I get a group of guys that don't have quit in them. Yeah. I don't care how good you are. If you quit, men don't quit. We don't. We sign up for something, we complete it. And I'm a firm believer in that. So, that's where I stand on that. And it kind of shocked me Abyss even checked out, because Abyss is a great guy and a great owner. I don't know what happened over there. I don't know the dynamics of what was going on. I don't know if, his schedule got too much, or, he became too busy. Kudos to Realist for sure for taking the helm up and trying to finish out strong.
Well, I mean, it had to be frustrating for that first line to win 11 games, and that second line couldn't pull off, 4 for the season. Because if they could have pulled off 4, we're talking about them being in the playoffs. Because they got 16 wins, and you guys are sitting at 15. Were you concerned going into this last week? Because it was a tight race there in the East that the Pacers might sneak in and take one from you?
Concerned about making the playoffs? No. I knew I'd make the playoffs. It's never been a season I haven't. Um, Whatever changes I need to make, I make them. Whether it's, I don't care. This last week, I said we're going to play all the conference games, which is something I normally wouldn't do. Um, but I said, hey, you know what? We need to make sure we make the playoffs. We'll play all the conference games. Um, and then whatever else happens, happens. But we'll make sure that we win the conference games. So,
Yeah,
no, I wasn't worried about that.
The next one here, Portland Trailblazers at 8-23. They're right there. I think they're kind of tied with the Knicks at 8-22. I'm assuming they're 8-23 as well. New York is, and I'm sure Portland head to head. I don't know the situation, so I just put them at this next spot here. We kind of know what's going on with Portland. Portland's been a lot of conversations because I was on the team. Evidence did reach out to both me and Texas James after last week's broadcast and said, you got to get your facts straight because Melo was lying on me. And there's a couple things he pointed out. I can't remember exactly, but I'm sure Texas will when it gets to his turn. But, Portland to me, where they made the mistake was when you pay that much for someone like Fab, there was tons of communication breakdown. I wasn't playing that well on Crab. I should have asked to move to the 2 way sooner than waiting until we lost as many games as we did because the 2 just, we weren't meshing well. I know Fab said on the show on Breakdown Mag show, he said, Ice, pissed me off. He come over and started balling out on our court why wasn't he doing that for me? Well, because I wasn't comfortable. And I don't know if I wasn't comfortable because it was the Fab and Fredo show or if I just didn't feel like I fitted in with whatever that was. And there comes a point, and it happens with all of Fab's boys, that they want to step out behind the shadow or whatever. Fab made you, Fab whatever. I don't care. I don't mind playing my role on any team I play on, so that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that there's chemistry that's involved in things, and I think Portland had really poor chemistry and really poor communication. What are you things that you think broke down Portland or fell? I mean, they're the third pick, and I think they were the third pick in the team draft, and they're we're talking about them, 1, missing the playoffs, and 2, tying for last place. In the if they were in the Eastern Conference, they would be right there at last place with New York Knicks, which the Eastern Conference was weak this season, but still stronger than the Oklahoma City Thunder. But what do you think, Mike? Man, the Portland Trailblazers. What do you feel? What are your thoughts on them?
That's a soft spot for me because I had them last season. And as much as people want to say we had a souped up version of that team, that's the facts. Those aren't facts at all. We had injuries during that season where we had 2 centers playing the power forward and the center position. We had a Damian Lillard who midi was low. His 3-ball was higher, but his midi was low. Like you could legitimately not green middies at a certain time. But he was still like hands down a lights out point guard. And I think to not take over game after game with that guy, I can't put that on evidence. It's point guard's job, whoever's on the Lillards, to carry those games. I mean, I averaged, what was it, like 37 and like 16 with that season, and people could say, "Oh, you had Fig. Fig played 6 games, or what? Yeah. Maybe like 10 or something like that." James, like I didn't have Fig. Let's be honest.
10
Fig's
total.
my boy.
I don't even think they were all with
guy.
you. Though.
Yeah, it wasn't even all with me. Love the guy. Like I said, talk to him every day. But his schedule just got crazy. He wasn't able to show up to games. Still managed to do it.
I would say
that strong of a point guard.
And I would say the competition is a lot stronger this season than what it was last season when it comes to that. Also, I think what the thing is, they knew that Fab had nobody around him to carry, and they were triple teaming him. And I don't know if he just didn't trust us. I think it was a trust issue. Like he didn't trust us to get us the ball and do the right thing. Or maybe when he handed the ball to us, we didn't do the right thing that he wanted us to do. I'm not sure. But I do know that it like I said, it came down to the Fab and Fredo show. And then when we lost, I took like 3 shots all game because that's all I was open for. And they were like, we can't keep losing. This is garbage. And I was like feeling like, dude, you're yelling at us. And we just showed up to the game. Like we just put our shoes on, went out and played and stand in the corner. What do you want from us? We don't know what else. You got to tell us what to do. And so
it was doing what he wanted you to do. It's not on you. Yeah. You played in a system that didn't work. And, people bring up, the triple team thing. I mean, people knew what I was doing with Lillard. It wasn't a surprise to people every game. It wasn't going, it's just Mike Man on him. People knew I was dropping 40 here and there, pretty much every other game. So triple team is just that's what you're going to get when you have Damian Lillard on the Trailblazers. People fear him, with rightfully so. I mean, he's arguably the strongest point guard in the game next to Curry. Um, so I mean, triple team is just what you're going to get. Now, on that whole not trusting his players, I mean, as a point guard, you can't do that. You get some people that you know are weaker or are not shooters. I mean, if they're gonna miss shots, they're gonna miss shots. But I'd rather them take an open shot than me take a contested one, because there's three people guarding me. So that's the only way to free yourself up. Sometimes you got to pass the ball. You got to make these guys at least respect them shooting. Um, I mean, outside of that, and I just want to say evidence, man. Keep your head up. Try it again next season. We all have those rough seasons as an owner, man. But one thing people are going to tell you is, go for these big players. Yeah, they're good players, and if things are going well, that's the best thing that can happen to you. But then you get issues where they become divas, and then they stop wanting to play. As an owner, every season I've been an owner, I've never had a single forfeit, and there's no other owner that can say that. Not a single forfeit. Um, so from the first week to last week, I've never missed a game, or no one on my line has ever missed a game. And that's because I get people who want to play, and there's people in the league that'll do it, man. So if you want to do owner next season, man, just start filling out people, get an understanding. You're gonna make mistakes. Just keep trying, man.
Yeah, wow. And moving on to you, Texas. I know you wanted to say a little bit about Portland. Where was the
This
what are
this
your
is
shots?
something that I feel, man. Okay, and this is a shot at Fab. Look, Fab talks so much shit about a lot of shit that he don't know nothing about, but he don't ever look at himself. Fab ain't done shit in this league since he stopped holding JT's pocket. Okay, he might throw up some flashy numbers here and there, but look, you in here with Portland. Arguably, people argue that might be the best point guard in the game. Regardless, triple team, double team, whatever. If you don't trust your teammates, that's on you. You can't put that on nobody else if you don't want to pass on the rock. But facts is, you come in here, can't hold JT's pocket no more. Go over to the Knicks, you quit. Okay, can't hang, just quit. Come in here, get Damian fucking Lillard. All right, same damn result. You don't want to come in last week and finish the season because somebody's salty over there. It's your own damn fault, Fab. It's your own damn fault, bro. Trust your teammates. Don't trust your teammates. You know what I mean? I don't know what to tell you, man. But look, you need to stop talking shit and throwing shade on people. When you over here on Portland, they got 8 wins. I know one of them was on the other team, was from the other line. I'm sure they probably won one or two more in there somewhere. So I would say you probably won 5 games this season. That's fucking ridiculous, especially on the amount of shit that you talk and throw shit on everybody else talking about how even that Mike here, he's not even top 10. You throwing shit about somebody not being top 10 when you can't even get wins, son. You check yourself, man. Check yourself. That's all I gotta say on that. And for Ev, man, I don't blame him, bro. I'd have went and paid big money on somebody. We talked about it preseason. It is what it is. First season owner, you don't know a lot of people. You're gonna make mistakes. Next season, he's gonna grow from this. He's been a great owner in the VFL in the past, in another website that we used to be on. So I know he has it in him. In that regard, it just takes time to get to know people around the basketball league. So keep your head up, man, and let's push forward and move on from this.
Well, in defense, a bit, he was averaging 28.5 points a game at Fab. Fab.
How many wins was he averaging a week?
And yes, that is something but it also takes more than one person to win. You can't have it both ways. You can't say,
Indeed.
You can't say,
Indeed.
I helped our team win,
and
then you turn around and say,
it does take
you
more
got
than
to
one
carry.
person, but not if that one person doesn't give somebody else a chance, man.
Well, I don't know. I wasn't there. Like I said, I left after the third week. I think I was gone, and it took us a while to mesh together. It does with any team, and I don't know if I stayed, it would have been different. I have no clue. I know the team started falling apart very quickly, and I was glad I got out of there when I did after the team fell apart. So I do know that he's averaging he averaged 28.5 points this year per game, which is pretty good. Should he played more? Should he got guys around him? I don't know. But you do need a little bit of help. It's 5 guys to win the game. Anyway, New York Knicks, and I'm not defending him. I would say that about anybody who puts up those kinds of stats. You can anyway. Next one, we're talking about the New York Knicks. They ended the season at 8-22. They were last in the conference over in the East in the standings. I don't know what happened to New York Knicks. Rest in peace, guys like Outtaker, which I think is a great player. I think he had some statistics that was. I think he had like he was rebounds a game. He was killing it in rebounds up there. Rest in peace to their Porzingis. Who was their Porzingis over there? It was who was that?
GMB
Stunner. Rest in peace, GMB Stunner, because you were balling. It's hard to see. I had more hopes for New York Knicks. I mean, realistically, in my original, I had them higher in the seat up there. I mean, I had them above Boston.
I think we all did on that one.
But I mean, Texas. What happened with New York? How do you feel? It was also another rookie owner, correct? I believe. What's his name? Hayden Land was a rookie owner.
Was he a rookie?
I don't think he played last.
I think first time as owner. I think it is his first time as owner.
He's played in the season for a while, but I think it was his first time taking New York. Yeah.
Right.
So I mean, what are your thoughts?
I would just say on this, I think it's just a bad start. I mean they fell so far behind, man, right off the rip, and they started coming on strong. Week 3, I think end of week 2, they started really coming on strong, but it was just too much. And I mean, when you fall so far behind, if you don't have 2 lines clicking, you ain't gonna climb out that hole. And that's really deep to climb out with a 1-line situation. So for them, I'm just gonna chalk that up to a bad start, man. And it does happen.
What do you think over there, Mike? Man, you think with the New York Knicks? What are your thoughts
I
on
agree
that?
with James on that one. They had good players. They got King over there. They had Hayden. They had GMB Stunner. That, like you said, they had Outtaker. They had decent guys. I think with the competition being at what it's at this season, you couldn't afford a super bad start. It's just really hard to dig out of that hole. So yeah, I think it's honestly just their start that messed them up because they got it going. It's just way too late.
Yeah, I would have to agree. Like I said, it's sad to see some of these guys like Insane Legend, Return of the King, Outtaker, Hayden Land, of course, GMB Stunner, Crash. Crash is an old friend. To see some of these guys not setting where they should be, and that's in the playoffs. So the last but not least, Oklahoma City Thunder 6-24 on the season. The worst team. Trainer. Now this is the big question that pops up. Trainer had like the second pick, dropped all the way down, took Oklahoma City, and I said even over the Spurs or some other things, but really at that pick, you can argue when you start getting past like 7, you can argue who follows the next 10. I mean, realistically. So yeah, I mean, you can say I like this or I like that. It becomes more of a preference team. So maybe Thunder had the right pieces, and with people like Space Jam JT, rest in peace Pink Fossa, rest in peace King John. I mean, some of these guys, Garbage, Assassin, which can be good if you put him Chairs. I mean, Chairs is going down as one of the best pro-am players, is what people keep telling me, like, oh, that kid balls. So, I mean, I look at this roster and I go, rest in peace, Oklahoma City. There's some really good hot roster guys on here. And if they had a different team, I'm not sure where they would come. What's your thoughts, Mike Mann, on the Oklahoma City Thunder?
Honestly, Trainer screwed himself on that one. You had Dimes and JT. Give those guys control of a line each. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? You're going to break even? I mean, even if you put no one around them, but you had pieces around them.
Yeah.
Even crazier. It was no reason they should have started that season off. Like, I like Trainer. Trainer can be a great player once he's serious. How often is he serious, though? That guy is like a troll 100% of the time. So
pretty much
he takes something serious.
He's 100% shit. Just he can be good.
No, it's not. That's not true. Like, Trainer can be good. Yeah, Trainer. I've played in games where Trainers had good moments.
Guys to guard. Like I mean, he knows what he's doing on 2K. So that's not the issue. It's just he'll do something crazy and stupid and then laugh about it, and that doesn't help your team out when you're the owner. If you're a player, you can get away with that, but as an owner, you can't be the goofball. I mean, because then your team's going to follow suit, and then you get players who are serious, and then they realize you're a clown, and then they're like, no, I don't want to be over here. And then demand trades happen. So you got to know who you're picking if you're doing that, man.
I don't know if I could have walked away from
you guys should did that.
From the second pick. I don't know if I could walk away from the second pick. The Cleveland Cavaliers and play with the team. You don't even have to have this good of a roster to win with Cleveland Cavaliers.
No. Cleveland's a strong team, and they are. But he actually picked the team I was going to pick. I was going to pick the Thunder at that pick.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, I was looking at him, but I didn't imagine the Spurs not being picked at all. I didn't imagine some of the picks that happened. So Rockets and stuff like that. I assumed those were going to get picked, but yeah.
Well, someone said, well, it worked out. Look, the Thunder or the Cleveland didn't have that good of a season, and it worked out for them. But the bottom line is Cleveland's gets their season continues in the playoffs, and you're setting, rest in peace, Oklahoma City Thunder. What are your thoughts, Texas, before we move on?
I think, I mean, we talk about it every week, man, and we say it all the time with Trainer. The dude is a good player, but he can't be fucking serious. And they made the playoffs with the Pistons, and they missed the playoffs with the Thunder. I mean, they're really similar teams.
I think this is strong. I think this. You go back and look at Detroit's rosters from last season, and you name off everybody, and you look at this roster from this season.
No, agreed.
I think this roster is so much stronger.
Yeah. I mean, the teams and stuff like Thunder and Pistons, you got Westbrook in the front court, which is a big help. And, they got big rebounders in Oklahoma City, which is good. But I don't see how they went so far off path. I don't get it, man. I really thought Trainer and them were gonna have a decent season. I mean, I didn't think, they were gonna win the West and do what couldn't be done and beat Golden State and all that shit. But I thought they were going to do better than what they did, so I don't know what the hell went wrong. I don't know if it was just too much attitude with all that star power, just they couldn't mesh, or I don't know. There's a lot of big personalities on that team, which you get every year with trainers, so there's no fucking telling.
Rumor has it Dimes asked for a trade and wanted out. He wanted out. I don't know what the reason was, whether the trainer couldn't make him happy. I don't know. I would have pretty much given Dimes whatever the hell he wanted if I would, and the same with Space Jam JT. Where do you want to go? What do you want to do? It's your team. Where do I got to move? Where do I got to put this rest of these guys? And if I have to release some of these guys to make the playoffs, let's make a team. Anyway, it's just sad to see that. Rest in peace, those teams, those guys that aren't going to make it to the postseason. There's always season 7. Let's move on. We're going to talk exciting things now. Enough negativity. No more crying in your beer or whatever, tears in your beer. It's time for the EBA playoffs. That's right. We're going to talk playoffs.
Tears in your beer.
That's right. Tears in your beer. I rumble with the best of them. Now, I think I have all these right. Now, there's a couple head-to-heads that I wasn't sure on, so if I'm wrong, I apologize. I got called out the other night on something I was wrong with. I am wrong sometimes. We do a lot to prepare for the show. It's just pretty much me and Texas, so I'm horrible with graphics, and I do all the graphics. You see, this is just absolute shit. But I do everything I can do. I'm using Microsoft Paint to make this shit work. I'm making trainer sigs over here in order to make this shit work. But yeah, I know, right? I work in the gaming industry, but I don't know shit about graphics. So, with that being said, if everything looked good, it would still look. I mean, it's pretty badass. So Microsoft Paint shit. Anyway,
it looks like
the way it's laid out is you have in the West, of course, the number 1 seed Golden State Warriors. They pretty much dominated everybody this season. They did lose a game last week against. They did lose a game. I'm getting hit up over here.
Grizzlies? Was it Grizzlies? No, Clippers.
Against the Clippers. Clippers team beat them, and then they came back and slapped us pretty good.
Beat that ass. They didn't just beat them. They beat that ass.
Yeah, if I was doing power rankings, I still would put Golden State above because they did come back and slap the crap out of us. But the 2 losses, this is what's good news, and this is why I say it's good news. The 2 losses they have, now 2 losses isn't, they could lose 2 in a series, and I'm getting hit up over here. They can lose 2 losses in the series and still be fine. So, but they lost 2 all season long, and the 2 they lost to was against Memphis and against Los Angeles. Right now, they are waiting in the Western Conference Finals for whoever comes out of this next game. They got to bye. They're just sitting there comfortably. So, what are your thoughts on Golden State? I mean, I know that we say this every week, so I'm not going to go to you, but I want to hear Mike Mann's thoughts on Golden State. I think they just got a give me player that is amazing and ruthless. I don't even know why we're discussing it. It's just irritating the shit out of me right now. But Golden State Warriors, they got a give me player. I think they just become a little bit better squad. They are Golden State. What are your thoughts on them?
Man, good owner, great players, hell of a team. It's the perfect combination over there, man. And to get ruthless, I've watched that guy work wonders with terrible players. So throw him on Durant, man. Don't hesitate to do that. I mean, that's obvious. Just let him go to work. I mean, it sucks, man. It's a great player, and he'll play. So, yeah, yeah, they're a problem. I don't see who can beat them over there, to be honest. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, that's a tough one. Yeah, I don't. They're probably gonna win it over there for sure.
Yeah,
The West for sure.
I see it hard. I'm going to say no because I'm over there, but I see it very difficult getting past them. It's just going to be hard games. Every time we play them, it's just, I don't know. It's like playing the computer on triple of the hardest difficulty, and it just laughs in your face every time you think you're doing the right thing. You make one mistake, and they're back in it. It's very difficult. It's a completely uphill battle. Texas, I mean, what are your thoughts on Golden State Warriors? I know you already just said give them the ring, but, what are your thoughts?
Mm-hmm. My feelings about Golden State in general are well known. I don't think they should be in the league, but they got ruthless. Unfortunately, I got the duty of having to sign him there. But I can't just be like, oh well, I don't like that guy going to that team. Randomize again. You know what I mean? They get who they get, and unfortunately, they got ruthless. And it's crazy because we do the randomizer. I hit random and I get a number and I take the number and look at the Google Doc and see who it is that got the pull for the team that needs a player. And when I looked at it, my head I just fell in my lap, man. I was like, oh my goodness, man.
I'm not sure. You're a better man than me because I probably would have hit random.
I'm
again.
telling you, man.
I would have hit that random button one more time.
I would have looked around left to right and just hit the randomizer one more time.
On my shoulder.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was just like, damn, man. So they got ruthless. They got Shump. They got Curry. They got Kevin Durant. They got fucking everybody else. That's the most amazing thing to ever touch the class A, man.
Shout out to the Fallout Factor. He's a hell of a defensive player. I think he's like second for most steals in the league. So some of the other guys that they currently have are not bad players either. They're not shit players, and they're playing on powerful teams, which makes it triple difficult to play.
I mean, respect. If I was Shump, I would just keep my guys in, man, because the fact that they've been there for you all season long, they've stuck it out. Out of all the guys you blacklist, these are the guys you got. It's not gonna matter. You're Golden State, bro. You're gonna get the dubs.
Yeah, you don't have a line struggling. That makes sense. You don't have a line struggling.
You might as well let them boys eat. Yeah, and they've been hunting for you. You might as well let them eat now.
We'll discuss later with my problems. Let me ask you this. So I just want to wipe this clean. I want to ask you this question as a commissioner, from a player to a commissioner, because I don't know. I know it's randomized, but and I know at the beginning of the season, this is the question I have, and I've had people ask me, and I said I don't know. There was a vote to ban Golden State. Now the vote was like 60, I think 60%, which is majority, right?
It was close.
It was close.
I think it was under 60. I think it was under 60.
Okay, so
it was like right there.
Okay,
and
so
it was
right
just
there at
so
60%. That majority. But did you take it to the next? Now, in the past, and this is a different website now, I know that, so I didn't ask Mags. I probably should go to him first on this, or even Truth. But as a player, I need to ask these questions because I represent the players in the league. Did you then take it to the next step and have owner votes on it, like the owners vote on it, and then the staff vote on it? Because it's usually the three steps. If it fails in one place,
staff voted on it. Staff voted on it to take it to a vote. To take it to a voter immunity vote, and we felt like it was better to take it to a community vote because it was going to affect everybody.
Yes, and then usually what happens when something major like that happens, it goes to the next step and then the next step. But that's in different sites. It could be different this site.
That was on an old website. But look, this is what we did. We took it, and I talked to a couple owners personally, got some input, got some good and bad, and it was just everything was just so on the line with this. It was such a hard decision to make, and there's going to be people that hate for it, and there's going to be people that happy and sad. It was such a close decision. We had people voting yes, and they're sending me messages telling me no, that's not what I want. I didn't mean to do that. I wanted to vote no. I changed my mind. I want to vote. It was just a fucking mess. There was like 3 or 4 people that did that voted yes, and then they sent me a message and they wanted to switch it.
Well, I
3
think
or 4, man.
At 90,
when it's right on the brink of 50-50, we decided to go alternate route and try the salary cap system. And
I like that system, but we'll talk about that a little later. Let's move on to number 2. In the West, the number 2 seed is the Memphis Grizzlies, and that's because of the head-to-head between Los Angeles and Memphis. So they get the nod for the number 2 seed, which is extremely frustrating with things that happened this week. I feel we lost a game that we should have won, so we should have easily had that second seed. But anyway, Memphis is there. The Grizzlies are there at that second seed. Mike, what are your thoughts on the Grizzlies, the Memphis Grizzlies?
Strong team. Because of the owner, he put together a hell of a team. He built it from the ground up with the bigs. That was a good call. Getting Ramo over there, but my only issue with that is Ramo can do more. He should do more. I mean, people are saying what? I mean, yeah, he's putting up points, but they should win more games with the type of dominant big he can be. He's a dominant big who doesn't pass out. I mean, you have guys on there who are taking 0 shots. Our strategy, how we beat him when we play him, is just triple team him because he's not passing out. He just wants to take you down low and drop step. I mean, he's beating most of our bigs 1v1. I mean, Marcus All's strong. I mean, he has like the second highest strength in the game. So, and he has drop step badge. So he goes in the post. He's gonna crush most bigs. Yeah, to me, that's their only weakness / strength over there. I would say, is with Ramo, is that he doesn't pass out like he should. Yeah. I mean, once other people get going and he's back to 1-on-1, he could take over again. But to not mix his game up just blows my mind.
Looking at the Memphis Grizzlies, I've seen a lot recently with the second bet. I keep seeing it. It drives me nuts to read anything that Crow posts. He has my respect as an owner. He's a total douchebag, personally. Yeah. But he has my respect as owner. I keep seeing, no Warriors, no problem, blah, blah. First of all, this team is nowhere near the team that the Warriors are. So credit there. You deserve credit for taking the Grizzlies, taking a low pick like that and turning them into the second seed. Credit needs to be given there. However, the way that you're making it sound, no Warriors, no problem, you're making it sound like you had the exact same quality of players that you had on the Warriors that you have here. And you don't, son. You're not even close.
Not even close. Not even close.
Like, we're talking day and night. Yes, no Warriors. It's not a problem for you. You made it there. Hopefully, hopefully you get beat here in the first round and we can move on. If you don't, then you get to face the Warriors and see if you can actually have that same feeling of no Warriors, no problem. Because the Golden State is a monster. But to act like he has this whole time act like it wasn't Golden State that's getting, and I guess you got to, and when you win a ring like that, you gotta be like, it's us, it's not the team, because everybody's gonna say it's the team. But even now, he's still very confident behind the fact that it was, and this team is not the same team. This team, to me, this roster is one of the best rosters, I think, you could put this team on any roster and I think they'd be successful. Maybe even more successful from Golden State, or from Grizzlies. So, I mean, what are your thoughts on the Grizzlies? We got to move very quickly because we're catching up, talking on each team. But what's your thought about the Grizz, Texas?
This is my standing on it, man. And I like Crow. A lot of people think he's an asshole, and he's selfish. He wants the ball. He wants his guys to do what he wants. I don't mind that. I can respect that. You're an owner. Like I was saying the same thing earlier. You're an owner. It's what you want. You're putting your neck on the line. Get what you want. Play how you want to play. Respect that. Don't mind his attitude. He's, yeah, I'm the best. Fuck it. I'm with that too. But when you talking about the Grizzlies ain't shit in the offseason, watch how I beat them next season. Let's see what happens. I think Shump got a piece of that ass this week. I have to go back and look at that to be sure, but I'm pretty sure Shump got a piece of that ass. And I guarantee you at the end of that game, Kuro was like, that's because they the fucking Golden State Warriors. Guarantee it. He won't say that shit live, but that shit's what he was preaching. But I respect Crow. I like what he does, man. He always puts together a good team. He's always in the playoffs and always making a run for the gold. So we'll see what happens, man. I do got to say, I think Ramo needs to be more versatile because he won't pull. I actually did see him pull 1-3 the other day against our second line that beat them, matter of fact. Second line beat them, and I did see Ramo pull a 3 in that game.
Yeah, but wasn't there some rule broken that reversed that game or something?
Whatever. Our line
A
slapped the shit out
TC
them. It is what
made
it
a
is.
mistake. It is what it is, and they lost 2 points, and they end up taking the loss. But
Oh, okay.
it really was a win in my eyes to have a TC and my second line, who everybody says is garbage, and
Regardless of
then they
what
go out there and
anybody
beat
says,
So
Rainbow.
what you're
they
saying
was
is
I don't know what
talking
to say.
about.
what you're
They
saying
was
is that
talking about
that bum ass line
our
beat
line.
Memphis Grizzlies.
Yes,
Because
Rainbow.
that's what I heard.
They-
Mag said
they
he's a
came
bum
in
ass
the
That
line.
chat.
So.
that team is
They
Rainbow.
came in the
That-
chat talking
they're
about,
right.
"Hey James, why'd you send your trash line at us?" I didn't say shit. You know, I was like, "All right, you know what? He want to talk shit. I was just gonna watch the game, and then if we win, I'm gonna talk shit." Damned if we didn't go out there and beat that ass.
Okay.
Damned if we didn't go out there and beat
Well,
that
it wasn't an ass beating, first of all. Second of all,
Hey,
there
call it
is-
what you want. If they want to call a line trash and then lose to that line, that's an ass beating.
Yeah.
That's all I gotta say.
Moving on to the third
Facts.
seed in the West, the Los Angeles Clippers. My team, my boys. You know, I enjoy playing with them. I'm surprised they haven't sent me down yet. I'm averaging decent points. I just I'm picking up late in the season. I think they like my style. It's more or less I'm gonna hang out here, and then when I get the ball, I'm jacking. But I can tell you this: I never played for King Mizark. He earned my respect last season. I get a chance to play with him this season, and him and G are hilarious to be. They're brothers in real life, so. It's fun to listen to them go at each other's throat. We laughed the other day in a party about how they were playing together in a game and they were at each other's neck. It's great. It's good. Too Cool is doing work over there. Inglewood made me. Majestic, of course. On that, he's my point guard. That's my point guard. Anyway, LeBum, those guys. Too Cool. Oh, I said that already. But these guys are. I had them favorited more only because that team I think is stronger now. They've had some injuries back and forth. DeAndre was out, then we got DeAndre back. Now the point guard's out, CP3. But still looking at it, what are your thoughts on the Los Angeles Clippers, Texas James?
You want me to give you a prediction, or do you just want me to tell you
what
what
are
I
your
think?
thoughts?
Because
Do you think that head to head with the Memphis Grizzlies? This is where you kind of got to go. Okay, do they have enough in their tank to beat the Grizzlies?
This is my thing. And I love G, I love Miz, I love Too Cool. They got a great team. I am more afraid of playing the Clippers than I am the Grizzlies. And I think the Clippers are going to take this. Now, a lot of people say, "Oh, well, you can't stop Rainbow." Bullshit. My second line did it. Eat a dick. Next, okay? The thing with the Clippers is they're a lot more versatile. You play Rainbow, you know what's going to happen. More scared of Crow's line than I am Rainbow's line because, Rainbow's line is so damn predictable. The Clippers, they're I'm not gonna say better owned because both of these owners are great owners, but the Clippers have a lot more skill around the floor because they're in their positions they need to be. The Grizzlies, they got guys that are in bigs playing small forwards and wings and shit. I don't know what the fuck. I mean, they've made it though. Good for them. But I think the Clippers are going to take this hands down. I think they're just a better overall, all-around team, user-wise.
Well, I will say head-to-head
in
records.
their respective positions.
Head-to-head records. The Grizzlies beat them over the head-to-head records. Just so we're clear, I want to make that. I have to be the middle guy.
That's fine.
And give you the feedback. So, Mike, keeping that in mind, who do you have between the Grizz and the Clippers? And give me a little information on the Clippers from your view.
Man, that's a toss-up, to be honest. I think this is going to be the funnest series to watch, the most competitive one, because you have two good bigs going at it almost every night. You got just good lineups going at it every night. So no matter who you send out there, game 1 or game 2, game 3 or game 4, it's going to be a good matchup. And that needs to be broadcasted because that's going to be a great game. I think it's a toss-up. I think who plays better that night is really going to win it, because both teams have great owners and great players. So honestly, that game's going to really be a toss-up. I think it'll go to 7. Honestly, I don't know who will win. I don't know. That's a tough one. I don't know who to give that one to. I'd almost give it to Grizzlies purely because Coro will pull something out of his ass game 7.
Like step out, like he did the one game 7 and lost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He could do that too. You get MVP of the league and then you decide not to play game 7 of the finals and then wonder why you don't win.
I'm sure he's still biting himself. I'm sure he's still kicking himself in the ass on that one. But going back, I think the Grizzlies are a very formidable opponent. I'm not looking past them at all. And this is just, I know the team's not looking past them. I know they're not going, oh, we got the. I mean, the team knows that the Grizz is going to give them a fight, and you know, I can tell you this week they beat our second line pretty convincingly, and it was frustrating that whole game. And I know hopefully we can figure out how to beat them and pull things together. Because remember, my line is just being meshed up from week 3 still, and we dropped some guys, we moved some guys. So I hope that we figure it all out going into this, because we have to beat them. I think we have to be at the top of our game. But I agree with you. I think that's going to be probably the best of the series. Moving over to the East very quickly here. We have the Boston Celtics. I owe you a huge apology. I'm writing right now, Dear Boston Celtics, I am sorry. I totally had you guys out of the playoffs, and you have the first seed at 18-14. That wouldn't get you in the playoffs in the West, but we all know the Eastern was a little weak when it come to players this season. When it come to teams this season, but Boston Celtics get the bye. They're waiting in the finals. Boston, I mean, I'm interested to hear more on the East. That's why I save that last, because it's going to be a close race. I think the East is every game is going to be close. Who? First of all, Boston. You have to look at Boston and think to yourself, how can we stop these guys? They're just on a tear lately. I mean, what are your thoughts on Boston? I'm going to go right to Mike, man. Go back to you. What are your thoughts on Boston?
I don't. I haven't lost to them. I haven't. My line hasn't lost to them. But I also haven't played them since they added dimes. So that's a game changer. I definitely put that out there. I don't know. I think they made it there off the back of the fact that the East was it was what it was. It was a shit show over here. And no one on the East had anything good going during the season. But the season doesn't matter in the playoffs.
No.
Your goal is just to make it to the playoffs, which the 3 teams did. So at this point, records don't mean shit. Now it's just about going out there and going game to game. So I'm curious to see what they'll do, because I haven't played them with dimes, so I'm kind of up in the air on what they'll do now they're in the playoffs.
Texas, what are your thoughts on Boston? I mean, dimes is with the add of dimes, they've definitely shown that they're competitive in that Eastern Conference.
I'm not gonna say we don't get along, but me and Remix, we go at it sometimes in the owner's chat about a few things here, there, whatever. But I like E-Money a lot, man. He's a good dude. He seems to put off a good attitude, which I've heard in the past. He's been a little problem in the league, but that's before I was here. But dude's a cool dude. I like E-Money a lot. He's a great player. I'd like to play with him one season maybe, just to see what he's about, man. But he's a good dude. I like him a lot. I think the Celtics are good, but coming out the East, I think the Celtics are good coming out the East. Like, everybody always talks about their roster, and they do have a good roster, user wise. But they're good coming out the East. But the Raptors are good coming out the East, and the Cavs are good coming out the East, because the East is shit. We're all shit. Let's be honest. We're all shit right now, but we're all shit together. So it
Not saying we couldn't turn it around. Any of these teams have the players to turn it around. All 3 of these teams definitely have the players to turn it around if they get their shit together.
It doesn't matter what Boston did in this regular season or added dimes or whatever. We're all still shit, man. The East is weak, all right. And so we're just gonna have to look for it. Everything's 0-0 right now, and it's up for grabs because we've all been beating each other. So it doesn't matter.
But do you think a bye week helps you or hurts you in the EBA?
I think it hurts you. I think it hurts you in this situation.
I think it hurts Boston in this situation because they've been hot up to this point.
Dimes and Rondo and them, they're all getting ready. Like, if Rondo, if the Island game wins in the Pro-Am thing, or if Dimes and them win the Pro-Am game, we don't know when they're gonna go to New Orleans. I mean, it could be whenever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They can just up and go. So I think the bye week hurts them more. But I guess it wouldn't matter if they played the first round and made it. Then I guess it could be the same situation. But I just don't see how a bye week would help Boston in this situation. Well, I think getting their guys on the floor playing would do better for them.
And let's be honest, you can't be mad at those guys that are doing Pro-Am, because that's $250,000.
No, absolutely not.
A full shot at it. So
no, that's what I'm saying.
I can't be mad at those
100%.
guys. I understand. I hope they still show up to their games or able to, or hopefully they have TCs, because I hate to see forfeits in the playoffs. But that has to be your first priority, is that Pro-Am, that you have an opportunity to win $250,000. I mean, that's money.
Mm-hmm.
So, moving on here, we'll talk a little bit about Toronto Raptors. I think they have the second seed. It looks like it's tied 15-17, 15-17. Toronto hasn't entered a couple games in yet, so I'm not sure what's going on there. But I can tell you that I gave Toronto Raptors the second seed. This is where it could be wrong. I don't know the head-to-head. I could be wrong on this, but I gave them the second seed anyway, just because I'm heavy Cleveland right now on the show. So I told, screw you guys, I'm going to give it to Toronto. At the number 2 spot, at the number 2 seed. So looking at Toronto and where they're at, they to me, they had the keys and they kind of fell apart. It seemed like, I don't know if they're forfeiting. I don't know what's going on in Toronto. I have no clue. But I know that it seems like this happens to poor Suzuki Uchilla or whatever, but it's revolves, right? It seems like it happens all the time to that guy, where he gets into this spot and then his team just kind of goes, okay, we're done. And I don't know if it's the team guys he picks or it's the situations he's in or if it's scheduling issues. I don't know. So going right back to you, Texas, what's going on in Toronto? If you have any insight, let me know. And 2, give me a little what you think of the Raptors.
You might have something. You might be on something there, man. Because last season it was kind of the same situation.
Yeah.
Near the end of the season, it's always like, do I want to play? Like I'm showing up, whatever.
I'm gonna trade my whole team away.
Yeah, that was last season,
right?
Yeah, that was last season.
And but like Toronto, man, I don't know what happened. There's no reason they should be sitting here playing in the first round right now. You could tell they gave up. And give up on Monday, you're still a quitter on Sunday, so it doesn't matter. They're in trouble right now. They're in trouble. Regardless of when you quit, you're still a quitter. When you give up, you still give up. Whenever you don't give 100%, you're lazy. So I don't know what's going on, but it's something bad there, and it's gonna roll right into the playoffs with them.
Yeah, I know they forfeited against us, but I thought that was just trying to get things worked out. And I thought, well, they shouldn't be forfeiting games. That first seed, they could lose it. I mean, they almost slipped all the way out of the playoffs. It was almost impossible for them to do that, but it's still, if they would have forfeited every game this week or not shown up, I don't know. I was trying to look through some stats, and it's a headache this week. Absolutely a headache with all the forfeits and everything. I'm just like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to do the show anyway. So, Mike, man, you're owner of Cleveland. You've probably had conversations with Revolves. Do you know what's going on over there in Toronto?
I'm on the money team with them in bad news and stuff like that. Me, him, John, King, Hayden, Ruthless, a bunch of us on the team together, and it's just funny because every time it's time for them to play a game, he's kind of like, fuck, here we go again. It's like because he has a bunch of guys on this other line that really don't want to play, they don't show up, and he's just kind of like, fuck them, whatever. It revolves, he can be an emotional guy at times, and it's funny because he's a great guy, but it's funny because he'll get pissed off and he'll go and argue with the player, and that shit never really works because the player will just throw a tantrum and not show up. Sometimes you just got to be like, fuck them behind their back and just be like, whatever, I'm not dealing with this shit today, and just kind of like brush the shit off. But I think he struggles doing that, and certain players get under his skin and he has to say something. And I think that's kind of where he gets caught up at. But it happens to him every season. I don't know how that always happens to the guy. But every season, it's the same breakdown near the end of the season. I have no clue what's going on in the locker room, though, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's something the league should look into in the offseason. It's sad to have a team that they had it in clamps in my eyes. I was like, oh, they got first seed in clamps. And then they let Boston sneak up in there, and hell, arguably, I don't know the head-to-head, but Toronto, Cleveland in the standings look like they sneaked above them because they have it in there in their last 2 losses, but I don't know the head-to-head. You guys might have took that second seed. I don't know. I'd have to go back and look, but we'll go to Cleveland next, and I'm not coming at you guys next. I don't take it as this being aggressive. But the number 3 Cleveland Cavaliers, I have to go to you first, Mike, man. I never let James talk first about his team. The Cleveland Cavaliers, I got both of you guys in here. And Texas has been telling me, I'm not humble, it's not whatever. I mean, I've got you. I have to ask. I cannot sleep at night and call myself a media guy if I don't come to you and say, dude, what the fuck happened this season to make you even struggle with Cleveland? Like, especially in this rough, in this rough Eastern Conference, you should be doing what Golden State pretty much was doing in the East. I mean, maybe a few more. I mean, they're Golden State, but I mean, you should at least have 25 wins on the season, at least with Golden State. You should have another 10 wins.
Oh, I don't argue that. I don't argue we should have a lot more wins. I'm never gonna argue that. Like, we had Cleveland. Cleveland's a hell of a strong team. You know, I made some bad decisions in the draft, which, you know, I stick by all of them though. You know, and I want to, you know, correct something people have been saying. It's because Mike Mann got all his people that the other line got screwed over. If you go, I mean, I wish they could show the order of the players I got them in. That second line that's who they wanted over there for that second line. I let Misty put that line together, who he wanted. My line came after. I had Cap after that. You know, I was in a bidding war for Corrupted at one point. But, you know, when you're the second pick, you just don't get Cap like that. Not like how it was before.
Yeah.
So I wasn't able to get him. And you know what? A few things didn't pan out in the bidding, but at the same time, man, you know, we had a rough season. It is what it is. We should definitely been better. But like I said, the records don't mean shit now. We're in the playoffs. That was my goal. Get to the playoffs, bye week or not, and at that point, it's just about winning every game anyway. After that, so mission accomplished, gentlemen.
Also, I've known some people come straight at dog ass Mello, and it's happened a couple times on the show. It's happened a couple times in the chats. About is he a role player for you at LeBron? I know that a lot of the guys are like, that's because Mike Mann's like, no, you're just a role player, and I don't know because I don't know you, Mike Mann. I don't play on your line, but he does what he needs to do.
That's not the type of guy I am.
Okay, I don't know.
That's not the type of guy I am. I'm not going to sit there and say, hey, listen here, do this, do that. You're a role player. No. Me and him talked about it. And, you know, in the first week we were like, hey, man, let's split the ball thing. And, you know, we tried that. We won some games, mixing it up. Me and him, we rotate. We know when he needs to bring it up, when I need to bring it up. Yeah, I'm a ball dominant point guard. He knows that because in a way he's the same way. In the first week we had more of that issue where it was, I want the ball more. But now, I mean, we have a perfect mix with the ball. I mean, and we're beating people. You know, there's other issues that are involved, but he's not a role player. The guy's definitely been doing what it takes to get a win, which is what we started doing. So you know, Melo's a good guy. I have no complaints with it, and yeah, I don't care what people are saying on that. So,
well, I said at the beginning of the season, and I'm going to take a shot at you here, that why the hell would you pay 2.5 for Magician? Like, seriously, the guy is absolute ass, and then he ends up having a damn good season. I mean, he's not playing bad at where he's at. I think he's...
You know, I knew nothing of Max, honestly.
He's third in rebounds, averaging 12.92, and I was surprised.
Believe
you
me, when Misty was like, I need this guy, I want this guy big. I played a bunch of games with him. He's just been dominating with Tristan Thompson. I was like, okay, if that's who you want, how far are you willing? I mean, I have this much cap. I'm thinking of, you know, we'll toy with it. But then when the rest of his line went for really cheap, I said, hey, man, I got a lot more cap. We can keep going for this if this is who you really want. And that's who we really wanted. And, I mean, Mags has been above and beyond, man. I mean, he surprised me because, like I said, I knew nothing of his game because I haven't had the pleasure of playing with him. But he's been a good guy, man. He does everything I need him to. He sends screenshots after every game. He makes it easy on the owner. And also, you know, he gives me a schedule. And these are the type of players I want, people who want to play.
Yeah. Well, he's not going to miss a game. As long as you schedule around his availability, he's not going to miss a game. Yeah. So I guess we'll let Texas...
he always lets me know.
I guess we'll let Texas James Smith talk about how great a team. Go, Texas. Tell me about Cleveland Cavaliers.
All right, sit back. I got this, bro. All right, man. Look, regardless of what anybody want to talk about my team, all right, or come on my neck for what we doing, we only had a bad season because we didn't want the first round bye. Okay? Let's clear that up right now. We wanted to play first. We wanted to come in to that second round hot. All right?
Oh
No,
my
but
goodness.
no, but all bullshit aside,
I was about
all
to
bullshit
say.
aside, though, man. No, we struggled, through the season. There's no excuse for that. It
Uh,
is what it is. Real shit though. It's been such a competitive year, man. Every team has good fucking people on it, and you could chalk it up to the cap. You could chalk it up to the owners, whatever you want. But this has been a great fucking year for the EBA. There's been there's been so much talent around to go around. Also, you can't really complain on that, because as a commissioner sitting back and like, damn, it's really good for the league. We got a lot of good talent in the league, but as a player, you're like, fuck, it's a good league. There's a lot of talent around the league, and it's on the flip side. But in the playoffs, man, I mean, it's all moot, man. We got our second line just came off a big win against Ramo, and that weak bunch of eight pressing vaginas, and then we got Toronto first week, so I don't think we're gonna have an issue with Toronto, though. I think we're gonna move past them pretty easily. Boston is obviously gonna be an issue, but hopefully Doms will win that All-Star tournament, and Hops keeping a jump over there in New Orleans, and we may not have to deal with them. So we'll see what
Hoping
happens.
that he makes the money so he doesn't have to face you. I guess that's a good game plan going forward.
I mean, Doms is nice, man.
Well,
No
not
doubt.
because you two are here. That has nothing to do with it. But the simple fact that I think Cleveland's the better team than Toronto, I would pick Cleveland because Toronto looks like they're falling apart. The fact that they lost the first seed, they're going in cold. Cleveland, you guys had to fight a little bit to make sure you secured a playoff this week, so you're coming in kind of hot, ready to go. I'm going to pick Cleveland moving forward as well. Not because you two are here, because so what we're expecting is Golden State Warriors versus Los Angeles Clippers for me, and then I have Boston Celtics versus Cavaliers. That's my setup. What was your setup? Who do you think's winning in the West? Mike, man, I'll go to you. Of course, you got Cleveland in the East, but who's winning in the West?
West, winning it all. I'm gonna have to say it's gonna be
No.
Golden State.
I'm talking about Grizzlies or
West.
Clippers, just in the next round. Who's going to the next
Oh,
round? Grizzlies or Clippers?
I'll flip a coin for that. I'll do that right now. Let's see. All right, it was heads. All right, it's Grizzlies.
Okay, you got Grizzlies
uh,
versus Golden State. Who do you have? Texas versus Golden State. Texas. Earth to Texas.
My fault. I'm still here. My mic was just on mute. My B. All right, still alive over here. Don't get your hopes up. Okay, so but with this this is a great matchup, man. I mean, you got bigs on bigs. That's going to be the issue, but I think the separation is going to be the Clippers have actual shooters out their wings, man. I think that's going to make the difference.
I think that's the
think the
nicest thing
Clippers
you
are
ever
gonna
said to me.
take
I think
this.
you might win the Give a Media Guy a
You're
hand job
welcome, dude.
award too this year.
Well, fuck it. If I'm doing it on my team, I might as well spread them around, right? Fuck it.
All right. So you got Clippers and Golden State, and of course Boston and Cleveland.
I
on
got
either
Clippers
side.
in 6.
Clippers in 6. Oh,
Six.
wow. Okay.
I need people to broadcast that series. I really do. That needs to happen. There needs to be a thread or something.
You know, the
It's
last-
constant. Who's broadcasting those games?
I pay more than someone's apartment because I do a lot of work out of my house for my internet. I literally pay a lot of money for my internet, and for some reason, the last 3 games I've been lagging like mad. So I'm scared to broadcast. I don't know if it's my connection to 2K, if it's 2K's dog ass servers, if it's the people that I'm playing with. I don't know. But I've been lagging like mad the last 3 games, and I'm not
2K
using that as an
servers have
excuse.
been crappy lately,
But-
so no, it's
So
not yours.
I'm
It's
nervous
definitely 2K servers.
to stream. I want to, but I'm nervous. So I doubt you'll see a stream coming from me regarding that series. Hopefully somebody else on the line can without any issues, but I also don't want to lose. So if a stream or lagging, then fuck the stream. We're winning. Moving on, around the league is what we've got. This is the next step. We've got a little clean it up here just a bit. We're about an hour on, so let's run over, and we're going to go around the league. Yeah, my badass beat here. I want to talk a little bit about the media around the league, and props to the media. But we have here an article from White Ice Fresh. I don't know. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't know if these stats are 100% correct. I'm assuming it was something simple. He went in and did the math and figured out all the players, whatever. So I'm assuming it's all correct. However, if this is wrong, this is not supported by EBA Tonight. It's not supported by me or Texas James. It's just I want to promote these articles that people are writing because I think it's been pretty active the last couple weeks and I'm really enjoying it. So talk about offensive leaders. We've got Space Jam Ramo at 32.23 points. Shumpert Life at 31.64. Fab at 28.5, Trainer, believe it or not, at 27, and Mike Mann, who's in the party here, number 5 at 26.23. I believe all of those guys are point guards, so the point guards are running away with it this season when it comes to offensive leaders points per game. You have any thoughts on anybody? Just Texas, you have any thoughts on that, or?
What is the article? I'm trying to pull up the article, man.
White Ice Fresh is
It's
EBA
like
season
league
6
leaders.
stat leaders, yeah.
Like league leaders.
Season 6
stats
stat leaders
for the season.
And he did all the
Like
points per
points per
game,
game,
which
points
is
per
pretty
box
cool.
and all that.
It's Space Jam Ramo at 32.23, and then Mike Mann bottoms out at 5 at 26.23, but they got Shumpert Life in there, Fab in there, and Trainer in there. I just kind of repeated it all, but I've got it up if you don't see it on the stream there. But EBA statistics, season 6 stats, rebounds, which Too Cool is leading at 15.29, which that's a pretty good little solid average. Outtaker at 13.7, big outs to Outtaker. Elite Mags at 12.92. There's your boy Mags from the Cleveland. The Realist in Indiana, and G Money over in the Clippers. So we have two of the top leading rebounders on the Clippers. And Cleveland has number 3 at Mags. Assists, you have Melo B Ballin with 17.5. I didn't know Majestic was this close because I look at all those assists that Melo has, but actually 16.69 Majestic. Dimes is at 14.91. Return of the King at 12. Did he go and play the point guard, Return of the King? Is he playing?
Yeah. He switched over to Rose.
Wow.
And that's got GMB going. I think that helped him out a lot. So
that's nice.
That worked out for them.
King Mizar, I tell you, I've been playing just pickup games in every season, and when I'm on and other people are on, they're like, hey, come play. I always jump in and play. And Return of the King, and I've said this a couple times, is probably one of the better Melos I've seen play. He's kind of got his style down well, mid-range he's in to out to in. He really gets better than anybody I've seen. So I was really surprised to see him move or see him on here, I guess, with the assist. But King Mizark, also a Los Angeles Clippers, 2 of the assist leaders, 10.8, are there in Clipper territory. Blocks, G Money at 2.86, and Crow, they're tied for first. How I just set them doesn't matter. I know I read later that Crow's, you put me under, whatever. But blocks per game at 2.86 and G Money at 2.86. Now, to give a little bit of respect, even though I'm not a big fan, G Money also has DeAndre, and Crow's been playing, I believe, back and forth on that 4 spot there. So I don't exactly remember who is that plays out there.
Wait, what are we talking about?
Jermichael Green.
What
He's been playing on Jermichael Green.
Oh, yeah, Jermichael Green.
So, but he does have some good blocks with Jermichael Green, so it means he's playing good defense. And you have Too Cool, which is also a Los Angeles Clipper. GMB Stunna at 2.64 and Ramo at 2.62. He's got him under New York Knicks, but I know he is also in Memphis there as well. So you have 2 Memphis guys and 2 Los Angeles guys, so that is going to be a great series with blocks that are going to fly back and forth. Now, I look at this stat, and I think this stat is kind of broke. It's a field goal percentage. G Money at 72.7 and Too Cool at 71.5. And then Ramo at 68.2, E Money at 67.2, and Crow at 64.7. But they're not shooters. I mean, all of those guys, other than Ramo, is, other than Ramo.
You mean other than Crow? Because I think Crow's the only one actually pulling threes with Marc Gasol.
Yeah. When I think Ramo does shoot outside every once in a while, but it's very low percentage. I think everybody that's up here with field goal percentage is dunk city, right? I mean, they're stand dunking on your face, and they don't leave outside of that red circle that's underneath the basket. That's pretty much where 90% of the shots come from. I have seen G Money and Too Cool spot out in different spots. And my team just wanted to let me know that Crow has been playing under Gasol, so don't give him any kind of push-ups there that he wants. But he does tied for the most blocks. Steals, Mr. User Pick in Indiana, 2.71. Hell of a Madden player, Mr. User Pick. I can't wait till OTP comes back so I can go head-to-head. Fallout Factor, Golden State, and Shumpert Life at Golden State are both right there at the 2.58, 2.57. G Money from the Clippers at 2.36, pulling down those passes into the paint, and Crow at 2.36. So they're both tied for 4th at steals. I mean, looking at that, there's a lot.
That's crazy. They're tied at steals and blocks.
Yeah, isn't that nuts?
Crazy.
And like I said, you got one to the other. Of course, if I have to put G Money for Defensive Player of the Year because he's on my team and that's my center. I got to give him props. He's a hell of a center. Other than the fact he doesn't look out enough, when he gets passed inside for me to shoot a three. Other than that, he's a damn good center. That's all. But I'm like anybody else. I want the ball every game. Looking at these, what are your thoughts? We'll go right to you, Mike, man. Since you mentioned, what are your thoughts on all of this? If you can pull it up real quick and kind of give me a around the league rundown.
Oh, I have it up. I'm looking at it. It's mostly correct. There are some issues in the assist area. I know because I look at that often. Actually, Fab should be at number 5, unless his stats are incorrect on there, because I think he's at like 11 or something, and I'm at 10 point something as well. But it may not have been entered when he did this list at the time. It's no telling. But looking here, I like what people are doing. I always like, I'm from the other site. I remember some of those good old days. I'm on the back end of the other site, so I remember those articles and how. You come on the site every day because, people are always posting articles, whether it's nonsense or good stuff. It was always something on there. And I think that's really what's going to help the league grow again once people start doing articles like this. So kudos to them for doing that, man.
Yeah, White S Fresh. That's another Clipper. Big shout out to my small forward, I believe that's on the other line, White Ice Fresh. What are your thoughts, Texas? What are your thoughts about this breakdown, I guess? You see anything that kind of sticks out to you or anything you want to mention?
I don't know. It's pretty much all this stuff is pretty much the given. I don't see anything like really outstanding here. Most of these guys that are here pretty much knew what the pretty much knew they were coming up here, but I'm pretty sure that I should be up on there on that field goal percentage thing, but that's just me. I got 66%, but hey, who cares about Cleveland, right? He's just a commissioner.
Are you really? Do you really got 66%?
Yeah.
Yeah, James is shooting a crazy high percentage.
Okay, well, kick Crow out of there and put yourself at the bottom there at number 5.
Thank you, right?
Our system's not the easiest system to do this with. Just in response to Too Cool, and we're trying to fix it. We're supposed to have a system exactly like this says offensive leader, defensive leader. It's supposed to be updated based on the real stats. It's just not in place yet. And I know I keep saying it's coming soon, whatever. But our playoff system, that should be ready to go here. I don't know. I believe it's this season when we're testing the playoff system. So hopefully all the it's coming. We'll get to see a playoff system and Stack. I'm still working on a bunch of the stats. But to defend White Ice Fresh, I appreciate the effort.
As of the EBA statistics, though, absolutely 100% great article. But just to clear it up, there shouldn't even be a shooter in that field goal percentage category. It should be all dunkers. FYI.
No, you should actually remove all the dunkers from field goal percentage and just put shooters.
Yeah, well, hell no.
That's what should happen.
You better not put LeBron in there. You better not put Blake in there.
Well, you get guys that have
none of those motherfuckers that'll jam out.
But you can't. Standing under the rim, dunking, and you're talking about I'm shooting 70-something%.
I pulled 2 middies this season. I hit one of them. Okay. So don't take me out of there.
It's one thing I left out too. One thing I left out, and I gotta mention this, and I'm sure realists will get a kick out of this one. Grizzlies have to use the guy that's 6'10" with a ratty. You have that guy over there. Let him let it fly. And I'm talking about Chandler Parsons.
No, stop it.
Don't
give him any pointers.
6'10" with a ratty. You have to let him let it fly. You got to give that guy more shots. And that's all I'll say on it.
Looking also just around the league, EBA The Jewels featuring E-Money and Trainer. This is at worst case, this is going to be at least exciting to listen to, just because these guys are both off the wall. But they're taking questions. Go in and ask questions. It'll be fun to listen to. I'm excited to have a little bit of media attention from other than just me and James here, and I'm excited. Something new. So
I'll be there. Like I said, me E-Money. I'm cool with E-Money. I like E-Money, man. He seems like a good ass dude. I'm gonna be tuning in, watching that shit, checking him out. Not there for Trainer. Just want to see my boy E-Money. Make sure his show goes right, and make sure ain't no nonsense going on.
Well,
it's gonna be nonsense. That's what this.
Yeah,
the whole. Gonna be
they're 2 of the largest trolls I personally know. So. The only thing you're missing is a couple guys that I think are absolute douchebags in there, and then you've got the perfect Jersey Shore if they want it. So,
He said Jersey Shore. Oh,
that's about sums it up.
Trolls
man.
and
That about
douchebags.
sums
It's
it up.
about it's about what you get. But respect for E-Money and his. I wish I had a graphics guy because I wish I could do graphics. This show would be much more exciting. I'm gonna talk with NBA or 2K about that. So here's some King Mizark's award projections. Look at that. That's a really nice one. I didn't know we had a Stokes Teammate Player of the Year award because every team I think has a Teammate Player of the Award, but he just added that because he loves
Exactly.
me. And I love the fact that my owner loves me. I can't think of any owner that I played for that says I'm an absolute douchebag, but I love that he calls me out here and says, hey, I'll play whatever, I do whatever, because I just want my team to win. But I also want to be on the team. I'm not trying to be on training camp. So, Rookie of the Year by any means, Mo. So I think that's probably a realistic thing. We haven't done the numbers yet. Next week will be the official awards nominations. So, so we can talk about who's got what and everything next week. But this week, I wanted to share some of these because I liked them. The Defensive Player of the Year, G-Money, which there's a couple arguments in there that maybe Crow as well, maybe they share, whatever. I hate sharing. Pick one or the other. Make the vote happen. Shumpert Life, Point Guard of the Year. I don't know. Does he deserve it? Yes. But is that like even realistic to win Point Guard of the Year of the best point guard to ever touch the floor when you're jacking from half court? I don't know. But kudos to Shumpert Life. He's been doing work and he's been kicking everybody's ass. I like how he put Shooting Guard of the Year in A. Is that what you're going to talk about?
Yeah, hold on. No, go back to Point Guard of the Year, man. Hold up. We need to talk something. He's talking about, what does it say? What does it say right there? So he fits in the Mike Man ownership category, but he is winning unlike the Cavs.
Oh,
fuck you for that. Fuck you for that. Because we in the same fucking position as you, regardless of what the fuck you want. We still third seed, son. Okay. All right, so don't you be coming at us like that.
He sent me a message and told me to catch him in the playoffs. How about that? Shooting Guard of the Year, catch him in the finals. How about that? That's what he said. Shooting Guard of the Year is in a Small Forward of the Year, Uncle Drew, which I like Uncle Drew at Small Forward of the Year. I'm sure there's a couple other ones. I think Stunna, to me, for Power Forward of the Year, wins it hands down. Center of the Year, hands down, goes to Ramo. I like the sixth man. I don't know if Aries is the right sixth man. I know he stepped up and done a lot of work as a sixth man, so that's cool as well. But again, these are just what King Mizark thinks. Again, shout out to King Mizark. Also, a fellow Clipper that is doing some media and hype in the league. I love you guys for doing this. I absolutely do. We need to continue doing that. And I think that was it for articles. Listen to the breakdown. That's hilarious. And that's it. That's about it. It's a joke. He said, "Yeah, it's good." That's
only
what's
issue
happening.
with the breakdown is you can't have a bunch of guys that are friends, all that agree with each other in one party in that show. They're just all going to piggyback off what the other one is saying. There's no other opinions. So no, change that up, and you can have another good show.
I like the round table feel of it, like the round table kind of passing it through and getting.
What's the point of the round table if everybody's sucking off King Arthur? It's no point. Put a bunch of different opinions on there, and let these guys battle. I mean, if that's what you want to do, that's cool. But everybody shouldn't be like, yeah, he's my buddy. I chill in the party with this guy all day, every day anyway. Like, no. I mean, that's one opinion, and that's all you're getting.
There has been in previous where guys we've had to calm down back and forth, but I mean, let's be honest, it's no EBA Tonight. So that was around the league.
Facts.
One last segment here at Commissioner's Corner, and the only reason I want to bring this up is I want you to tell me. There's a few questions I got to throw out the commissioner, and I want to talk league base. And Mike, if you have something to say, you can jump in during this. I want to start out by saying I absolutely love this season. I think this season was one of the better seasons I've been a part of. The talent was spread out. I love what you did with you and the staff have done this year. I don't think I've had any major complaints come to me. Most of it's bullshit complaints like they should video the randomize so we know it's real. Like, if you honestly feel that these guys are cheating that bad, then you should not be in the league. Like, that's really stupid to hear shit like that.
You think I'd have sent Ruthless to the Golden State?
No, you would have sent him to us.
Please.
And I would have been sent down for training. You'd have sent them to us, and I'd be sitting in training camp right now. That's exactly how that was going to play out. So So with that being said, like I said, I think it's one of the better seasons. First, I want to ask you. You need to give me. There's a little change, I believe, in the playoffs, right? With how many people can play whatever. I want you to explain that so there's no miscommunication on how the playoffs are to proceed.
Yeah, I'll be posting a force read probably tonight or tomorrow.
Fucking
Just
hate
depends
force
on
reads.
I know, I'm sorry, man, but
I think we all do.
They need to be done though, man. Otherwise, because if not, people just get on to check the inbox and they'll never scroll down to the forums. People do that shit all the time, and then I get yelled at because I didn't know. Well, it was in your face, not my fault you didn't read it. But playoffs, we're gonna be doing a little different this season than last season, just a little bit. It's gonna be the same format. There's gonna be 2 on Sunday, 2 on Monday, 2 on Tuesday, and 1 on Wednesday. But this season, we're gonna change it up a little bit. We're gonna do the first 4. You can play in any order. Either line can play any order. You can go line 1, first 2 games, line 2, second 2 games, or vice versa. It doesn't matter. Or you can do one each, any order you want. So that's how the first.
So to
4
clarify,
the next 2.
the first 4 games, both lines have to play 2. It doesn't matter what 2, but they have to play 2.
Yes.
Okay.
2. Yes, they have to play 2. Each line has to play 2 games. Now the next 2, game 5 and 6, if needed, you're going to go one game apiece. So each line has to play 1 game.
And that requires both lines to be
7,
on for one night, though. That's kind of the only thing I don't like about that.
It is. And then game 7, it's obviously up to you, but we did that this season because last season we had an issue with the second line would never get their 3 games in because the first line would only come through and they would play the 5 and 6 game, and then the second line would never get their 3rd game. And so it's only fair for every player in the league to get their experience of the playoffs. They played here. They worked all season to get to the playoffs. It's only right to give them an equal opportunity to play. So that's what we're gonna do this season in the playoffs.
Okay, so that's how the playoffs is broken down. So just so I can confirm and tell me yes or no, the first 4 games, it doesn't matter which lines play what games, 1, 2, 3, 4, but they only get 2 games for the first 4 games. They can play 1 and 4, 1 and 3, 2 and 4. What? Just 2 games is done. Then for the 5th and 6th game, that one night, both lines have to be on to play the 5 and the 6. If it goes that far, I mean, it's the first to 3 or first to 4 wins. So, if it goes that far, then whatever. So 5th and 6th, and then the 7th is owner's choice. He can pick whichever line he wants. So he's going to pick the number 1 line, and they're going to go right. I mean, that's mentality wise.
Right.
Okay. So
that's the way it should be, or stack a line, or whatever you want to do.
Yeah, whatever you want to do, but you can pick whoever you want to play in that game 7 from your entire roster. Correct?
Yes.
Okay, good. So that's how the playoffs are going to go. So that's a little bit of different change up than what I believe it usually is. I think it's always been 1-1-1-1, which was a pain in the ass to get every line on every night. And some forfeits happen. Please, guys, make sure you don't forfeit this. This is such a shitty. So what also on Commissioner's Corner, there's some things I want to ask that's kind of frustrating from a player side that I see happening around the league. Now, keep in mind, I try my best. Other than these nights that we get together, I don't usually bother you throughout the week. We don't talk shop outside of EBA Tonight. I think there was one time this week we jumped in a party and was chatting about some shit that was on my mind. But there's some things that frustrate the hell out of me, and I don't understand from a player. And I need to bring up, and I need to come at you, since I have a commissioner on here, Commissioner's Corner. I've got to shoot this right at you, and it might take us a little longer to get through this, but I want you to explain to me.
Far away.
Or not really explain to me, but I want to challenge you and the guys else. Now you have this off season that's coming through. I know you have playoffs, and some of your guys that are on your staff are in playoffs as well, so that's important. We're going to be utilizing the new playoff system, so you have to stay on top of that to make sure that's working the way you need it to work. Completely understandable. However, the 17 forfeits in week 4, and I hate when people go, well, it always happens. I mean, it's frustrating to see that.
Well, you about to hate me there.
Well, it's frustrating to see that, and then frustrating to see that there's training camp people that want to play in this league stuck on a training camp when they could be finishing out their season somewhere else. And it's extremely frustrating from my point of view to see that. Now, I'm not a training camp player, but I have played a training camp in the league. In the old site, and I know there's things different from this site to the other one, I let Mags handle all site related, and then he hands it down to Truth, or all league related, and then Truth hands it down to you guys and talks with whatever that's coming kind of from the top down, or how the league run or whatever. Then you guys decide how you want to do it and move forward. So for everybody else who doesn't understand that. Me, I never dip my hands in and say, this has to change and this has to... I've never done that, and I hopefully don't ever have to do that. But something that completely frustrates me is the training camp system that we currently have. This can happen, and it frustrates me for this reason. You play all season, and you get gifted a golden player going into the playoffs, and now it just made you... A player that would play first line on any team in the league now is setting on your roster and makes you that much stronger going to the playoffs. And I'm not just bitching about Golden State. That's not because I'm over there. And I'm not just bitching about, Raya DeBoom or whatever that just got Golden State, just went to Memphis last week. That's not what I'm bitching. I'm bitching about the fact that training camp and the way training camp works. Now, I know they do something over in Smite, or did something in Smite, where they rated the players, and then you were only allowed to get certain rated players unless you were at the bottom. I don't know how they did it exactly. That's something you probably could discuss with Crow. I think he ran the season over there and set that up. But something has to change with the training camp for what I feel. And a lot of players agree with me on this. I don't know what to do. I know in the past I've had discussions when we ran VFL and even EFL on how to fix this issue. And it's not a quick fix. It's something that has to be. So I want to challenge, as a player, I want to challenge the staff, and I want to challenge the other players that are sitting at home during the playoff season to come up with a better training camp scenario to where you have players that you can utilize, but they're not, because that's really what they're there for. They're to fill in, but that's not what they're being used for. And I understand what makes a line. Sometimes it's better chemistry. It's having to deal with problems. It's those types of things. But if you've got a guy that can start on any line, and for instance, you trade for him, you get him, and then I would be pissed if this happened to me. Like if the Pacers said to me, I want Ice the Man, and they came and they traded and got me. And then when they got me, they sent me down. I would be so pissed off that I couldn't finish my season.
All right.
And there's teams out there that are forfeiting.
Here, bro. I'm trying to listen. You just completely. I don't understand if you're talking about call up sit down or you're talking about random assignment.
It's all of it. The whole training camp system is broke. The whole thing is broke.
Well,
I don't know how to fix it.
Let me tackle that a little bit actually, because honestly, I think a lot of that, and I'm gonna say more than a lot of it, 90% of that is around the owners, because as owners, they're abusing the system. You got guys who are just banning TCs in hopes of getting, good players that sign up late. And that's on the owner for doing that, because they know it's a system that isn't complete. And I don't even know if there's really a way to make that system complete, and they're taking advantage of it. But really it comes down to owners, because there's guys that want to play, and you got owners out here taking forfeits when they don't have to, and there's guys out there that want to play. So really, it's just the owners about not getting rid of these players for whatever bullshit reason they can come up with, so they can take a better shot at getting a better player. I think even if it comes down to limiting how many TCs they can get, I don't know. But, it's just certain owners taking advantage of a system. And they know who they are, and they know when they're doing it. So, I don't know. I think it really just comes down to the owner. I don't think it's anything, the commish or anybody could really come up with to completely fix it. I think it's the owners that have to fix what they're doing.
Yeah, and I don't know if they're ever going to. That's the problem. So it's going to continue to be broke in this league. There has to be something, and I'm not saying I know all, and I'm not saying, but there has to be something better than what we're currently doing. There has to be. It's broken. There has to. I don't know what that is, and maybe I need to spend some personal time sitting down and talking with people and figuring out and presenting better. But I'm not coming at the commissioner. I'm not coming at the staff, and I'm definitely not coming at the site. I mean, I own this motherfucker. I'm not going head to head with it. What I'm trying to say is that there's a huge flaw here with the way the TC's currently, the whole system of TC is broke. And I've had this conversation with Mags a billion times, and Mags always goes, well, it is what it is because that's the best we can come up with. And that's great. But what I'm challenging the community, and I'm challenging all the people who have an issue with it to come up with a better system. We thought before, and this is a kudos to the guys who came up. I know Trainer pitched it again, and then finally we started talking about it, and those are positive players that are moving things forward. We need that to continue for the league to get better. I think the league is 100 times better than it was last year with talent wise, and I think a lot of that has to do with the salary cap system. I honestly think some of the lower teams had the opportunity, if they played it right, had the right talent and right opportunity to be just as competitive as some of the top teams in the league with the new salary system in place. So that was a positive.
And you got to give credit to James for that too.
Absolutely.
Coming in as commission, curveball and everything. He saw something he didn't like, and he just said, "All right, let's do this way."
I'm not going at, and I know you guys are looking at changing the way that the voting system works this season, and I'm 100% on board with that, because you looked at it and you said it's
I agree
broke.
With that completely.
You said it's broke.
It's favoritism. It's been favoritism since the beginning.
Oh, it always has. Even on a site long time ago, far away, it's always been favoritism. It's who you know. Let's pick this name. It's never been real statistic driven, and it's hard to do real statistic driven, because then do you put somebody that's playing a crap point guard but putting up similar statistics? Do you give them the nod over a Curry or a Lillard? I mean, it's broke, and I don't know how to fix that either. But I know you guys are at least saying, hey, you've realized it, you've looked at it and said that is broke. Now let's focus and try to fix it. And if it's not fixed, that's fine, but at least you've realized it, and that's the first step. And I need to get off my soapbox because I feel like I'm preaching, but I honestly feel, and if I'm wrong, definitely community put underneath, but as a player in this league, I honestly feel that the training camp system is absolutely broke, because it's being misused and misrepresented to every player. There's no more player rights. We don't have a PA. So you can just send me down just because you don't want me.
We have a PA.
No way.
We have a damn good PA. Yes. And I can't let you take a shot at my boy Legend like that, because Insane Legend is going through and taking these blacklists on his own time and contacting these dudes out of league. He's contacting them over Xbox.
Okay, so he's focusing on the blacklist
through email, whatever he can do. Yes.
Okay, and that's great.
Can't let you just take a shot at this thing, because he's working his ass off, and especially as many blacklists as we came through, we wouldn't have overturned probably half of them if he went out there.
Let's talk about this for a minute, because I appreciate that that's in place. I do. But I am an owner of the site and a player on the league, and I never knew we have a PA. I didn't know we had a PA, and I guarantee I'm not the only player that feels that way.
You need to get in the site. I put
I'm on the site.
I put who the staff is this season, and there's also a new Players Association office open to everybody. Then go in there. I got so much crap here. Whatever they want. They can fucking.
I could be completely wrong on this situation, but I was not aware that a Players Association, and there's no rules in the league. I know we have an EBA area. I know we've always had a Players Association area, but it's not been used for so long.
No, it hasn't. The problem was it was locked to the public. The public could not see it.
Oh, I didn't know that. And I could see everything.
Was not
so
aware of that.
It's not fair for me.
And the first season that I was here, I noticed that, and as soon as I noticed that, we moved it. We put it in open to the community and made sure that everybody can see it and get their chance and know how to blacklist and appeal blacklist and all that stuff. So I mean, people just got to get on there and dig around, man. But everything you need is here. Even in the messages that are sent to the players, it states contact your PA Insane Legend on every blacklist. So, and I mean, we've actually had a GM send the message through Xbox because their account was full. So I mean, some owners and GMs are going out here and going through an extra step just to make sure that the player doesn't want to play or what be it. But it's there. People just got to be active on the site and stop relying on GroupMe for everything.
Well, I'm not even part of those GroupMe conversations. The only ones I'm in is the team one. And
right, but you also haven't been a part of a blacklist either, so
I haven't yet. You're right. I have not been a part, but I'm not. I'm active. I'm constantly active, and when I sign up and say I'm a grown ass man, when I say I can give you 4 weeks, I'm going to give you 4 weeks. I mean, that's what I'm saying. So I'm not like the rest of these guys.
Every guy that gets hit with a blacklist, they have the opportunity in the blacklist stating that it says contact your PA Insane Legend. And myself. So if they can't contact him, I'm always available. And so and if I get a message, I pass it on. Like, look, this dude, you need to talk to this dude, make sure everything's good, bring it to me. I talk to the guy myself. I get in there, make sure everything's right. And if he doesn't deserve to be blacklisted, I'll tell the owner he's SOL, man, and don't try it again because we're on that ass. But it's just one of those things that there's going to be a flaw no matter what we do. We just the goal is to narrow it down to as slim as possible and be able to catch on to it.
Yeah, like I just think it's owners again, man. Like I try and tell every player, if you have an issue, you can talk to me about it. You don't like a certain situation, talk to me about it. I think owners need to communicate to the players on their team. And that's the only way to keep people playing. Whether you're winning or losing, they will keep playing. I promise you that. I had the worst start that you could possibly have in a season, and we still never missed a game.
But
You
it's
just
also
gotta
the
talk to
guys that
people.
you have. Yeah, you got to talk to them. You got to be a good owner, and that's. I mean, we lack. I would say this group of owners, since nobody quit this season, is better than previous. But I mean, we need to continue to get better as owners.
Never had a season. There's never been a season. This is what I've been told.
Yeah.
There's never been a season.
Never been a season where
there
an owner
hasn't
didn't
been
quit.
quit.
Yeah, this is the first season ever that I've ever been a part of, even back in the old days, that an owner didn't walk out somewhere throughout the season. I mean, you could say that an owner quit on his team this season, but there's nothing that's official, and I hate that because people go, I don't want to blacklist him, or I don't want to.
When people say that, like people said that Bitch quit, but he still played a couple of games there at the end before he actually just it's done. So let's posted in the owners chat, and there was like Abyss played, and it was like a big thing. So I don't know.
Yeah. Well, let's wrap this up. We're about an hour 45, whatever. We're way over our limit as always. We always do with the show. So let's wrap this up.
There's not a limit. Ice, there's not a limit.
Before I go, like I said, I want to challenge the players out there that, or even anybody out there that feels the same way I do, where TC's broken and there has to be a better way to it, to come up with it and think about it. I've thought of the the salary thing in the past.
I'm open to suggestions.
But I mean, shout out to Trainer for actually posting like this is how it would work, and breaking it down so it's very understandable and very easy, which allowed us to then, look at it a different way.
We definitely did. We definitely did different numbers and did it a little bit different. But I do. Trainer's always coming up with good ideas, regardless of what people think of them. And we always take everything that anybody brings to me and or my staff. We bring into consideration. I'm not above changing something just because it's a little scary. So if anybody thinks of something that might help or bring something different, man, please contact me. I'm not above taking a risk on something if we feel that it's better for the league. So, but I can't change something if I don't know, if we can't get.
There's nothing better. There, so. Yeah, I mean, it's. I agree. The free agency system maybe isn't the answer. I agree with that. Unless there's something behind the free agency system, I don't know if there's ways to rank the players, because 2K doesn't rank it for you as easy as Smite does. They say this player is a gold or whatever and diamond. So I don't know how. There's going to be some sort of, if we take out the current randomization system, there's going to be some sort of person that makes that decision, and I wouldn't want to be that person. So anyway, I challenge everybody to do that. Let's talk any shout outs, anything you want to say, Mike, man. I appreciate you being on the show. Appreciate you showing up and defending yourself a bit, but anything you want to say?
No, I appreciate you guys, for making a good show each week. It gets the league talking, whether, it's good or bad, It's something that the league needs. It needs this show, and you guys are doing it each week. So kudos to you guys. Shout out to my whole team, riding it out. Had a shit show, gentlemen, but we made it, so it doesn't matter anymore. Let's go get this championship. Also,
0-0.
Got to shout out 2 more people real quick. 610 with a ratty, that's for you, Realist. And Corrupted, man, I need you to come back. We got to do some damage again, man. So that's about it, man. Let's good show, guys, and it was a pleasure being on here.
Great, nice having you on, Mike. Any shout outs, Texas James, on your closeout?
Oh, for sure. I want to shout out to Ramo for taking that ass whooping to his so-called fucking trash line that the Cavs have. I'm just saying, they put it on them regardless of what the staff said or whatever. My boys showed up and they played their heart out, man. They got that dub. Ramo finished that game with a D teammate grade. FYI, that's how you know he don't pass the ball. D teammate grade. Also, shout out to my staff, King John, Insane Legend, and you heard me, Insane Legend, Ice. He's there. I'm telling you, it's a real thing. Um, Z actually, man, Woody, my guys, man, they stuck it through all year. They've done a big. They went so hard for us this year, man. I mean, y'all don't know how much stress relieved it was from this year to last year, night and day, man. Completely different staff, and I'm very appreciative of what those guys have done for me and this site. And shout out to the season, man. We've had a great year. I'm very happy to see the no owners quit. We've had a very competitive season, even though the East was shit. It was still competitive. It was still a close race at the end. And Ice, I appreciate you having me as your co-host for another season, man. Looking forward to the playoffs and looking forward for next year.
Oh yeah, we always have the playoffs to hit on. Big shout out to my co-host there, Texas James Smith, baby. Always here.
Got his name.
Yeah.
No. I had to play
He was hitting me with my tune.
I was
He
hitting
was
him
hitting
with
me
his
with my tune, my intro.
That always plays in the background for me. I just had to hit it. That was the problem. Also, I want to have a huge shout out to these Pro-Am guys, dude. Best of luck to Space Jam and the guys. I know that EBA comes second to some money. A huge shout out to Dimes and those guys. I mean, realistically, we have guys, I would say we have at least 5, if not 7 of the top 10 players that play in Pro-Am on our site. I mean, that's huge. I was talking today with the CEO of Take-Two Interactive, and I told him, I said, you guys are going to do this cool league thing. You should just get with us, man. We got all the best players playing with us. So hopefully something that comes out of that. But to be realistic, definitely shout out to those guys. I mean,
yeah, you definitely have to shout those guys out. All bullshit beefs aside, they represent the league we all play in, and it's great seeing those guys out there. And I'm rooting for every last one of you guys in the tournament. Any of you win, it's a big up for us.
In that tournament, there was only one. The bottom left corner was the only games you could click on that did not have EBA guys in it. Every other game, top left, top two games in the top left, right, all down the right side, all just loaded with EBA guys, man. EBA guys all over the map in that game. So they putting it down and showing that they can do it with their
after you go win that,
they can do it with the real life people.
You have an invite on EBA Tonight as soon as you go win that money, and so I can play your entrance song.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Okay, we gotta bring the whole team. We gotta bring the whole team in this team.
Dollar, ching, ching, bling, bling, got the chatter.
I play your entrance song. There Here comes the money. Yeah, I'm excited. Shout out to those guys. Happy. Also, so everybody knows, I want to wrap this up real quick. EHL, the hockey league. It's one line, 8 teams. I've got enough guys signed up. I need more owners. So if you're interested in owning, I believe it's a Friday and Saturday night. There's the games. There's 2 games on Friday, 2 games on Saturday. And I think they're doing it where there's like an owner and then a full roster. And it's that way so you can play or have somebody else play. Or I'm not sure exactly how the layout will be, but they're making it so TCs are actually part of the roster, and then you set up your lines like real hockey based on who's playing what, when, where. So if you're better, you'll find yourself on the ice every single game. Anyway, go sign up. There's no position locks. If you're wanting to get into hockey, it's a perfect opportunity to get in. And if anybody's thinking, I'd like to own a team, that's a great place to go own. Right now, we need 2 more to get the league started. It was supposed to start this Sunday. It had to get pushed back because 2 owners dropped out on us last minute. We had to go ahead and grab 2 new ones. So I'm looking for EHL to take off. Also, speaking of here comes the money, Pro League is coming. Finalized. Count it. Call your mama. Tell everybody. The Pro League, EBA Pro League, Money League, will hit Elite Team Play. So get your best 5, 6, 7 together. Look at the rules. Sign up. You're going to have to use EC to sign up. And it actually is going to be money paid out. So it is coming. It's finalized. We've been talking about it and talking about it and talking about it, talking with lawyers to make sure we can legally do it. And we've got everything ironed out to the point that we can actually have a full season now. So I'm pushing Mags to get things rolling, and he's working hard on it with everything else he's got going on. But Mags will probably be commissioned for the first season. So, he's the most straightest guy I know. So, I think it'll be a lot of fun. So then you can actually pay money and
Here comes the money.
Here we go.
win money.
I'm about to be out
So
of
what?
a job.
You spend your EC. You spend your EC to get in, and then you can win real money.
Yes.
Do you also get EC back for playing as well?
No,
too, or?
no EC's played. There's no
Okay, you can
salaries.
just-
There's no. It's works like every other. But the thing is we have to make it a virtual currency. Now it's probably going to be gold EC, but the way that it works is you'll be able to play. The reason why it's technically legal is you can play anywhere else on the site and earn enough EC throughout the seasons in order to build up and buy your own team. Or buy your own spot and to play for the money. So if you play on other places and you're active on the site, it won't take you long, but it's still, you're going to have to play 10 seasons of EBA to get one season of the Money League if you want to do it for free. And be damn good in those 10 seasons. But, that all equals out and everything else. Because right now you can take EC 100 silver and turn it into 1 gold. And so I don't know the prices, the money, and as soon as I get all the details, I'll hit it out. But shout out to the Pro-Am guys. Good luck this weekend. Good luck next weekend. I wish you guys the best. I want you to win. I really do. You have full support of Elite Team Play pushing behind you guys. I know that's important for the guys that are trying. Also, if you lose, don't bitch out and quit the season. Let's just finish out the league and come back next season and power through. As always, thank both of my guests for being on. Or thanks, Mike Man, for being on the show, and every week. Thank you for being on the show there, and good night.
100%, man, no matter what. God bless you all, man. Y'all take it easy. Good shit. I ain't gonna have a league.
He's gonna have to try and get commission over on Money League. He's gonna have to try and do it.
I'm gonna have to do something, man. I'll do it though.
Yeah, but you
I'll get put out of business.
Yeah, you're not getting put out of business. But, there's still going to be people that want to play in this league as well. They still do. The difference is we have guys that are going to play on a different site. They're still doing it. It isn't like the team isn't doing it now. They're going and playing Bad News. I don't want them on Fuck Bad News. I don't know that kid. I want him on my site. So,
he's actually not a bad guy.
No, I don't know him. I'm just saying I don't know him, and I want him on my site. I want him playing here, and it isn't about the money. It's never about the money. It's about the community I'm trying to build. So if there's something offered somewhere else that we can do and we can do it better, I want to do it. And our stat system's not where it needs to be, so I can use the money to make that always better.
Well, we should have a stat system. So, that'll attract a lot of people.
I'll be over here by my loan from a
No, you won't.
Every team makes the play.
In fact, it'll bring more people into the site, and maybe they'll hear about EBA and join that.
I ain't worried about losing some of my guys. I ain't gonna lie.
I think people will play both as long as they're not going on.